Nathan Cole had built his reputation as a man who could never be shaken. At 38, sharp, precise, and unyielding in business, he was always seen in his signature navy blue suits, his presence alone commanding respect. His office, on the 45th floor of a gleaming glass tower in downtown Chicago, overlooked the city like a kingdom he had conquered. A massive mahogany desk dominated the room, and on it rested an antique blue rotary phone polished to a shine. Around him hung world maps, framed certificates, and a few family photos, small glimpses of life beyond the high-stakes world he inhabited. But that afternoon, Nathan felt a panic he had never known. The phone, silent all morning, began to ring with an insistent, shrill sound that cut through the calm of his office. It shouldn't have been ringing. The agreement with the Saudi investor had already been finalized days ago. The translator, Ahmed, who Nathan relied on for every critical word in Arabic, was on a 2-week vacation. Nathan had thought himself safe, finally able to breathe for a moment, yet the ringing continued. Nathan's assistant, a young woman named Clara, froze. Her eyes widened as she whispered, "It's the $900 million call, the line from Riyadh." Nathan's chest tightened. Every deal he had ever made paled in comparison to this moment. One mistake, one misinterpreted word, could undo months of negotiations, shake investors' trust, and cost the company nearly $1 billion. In the corner of the office, sitting quietly near a mop bucket and a small stack of cleaning supplies, was Zara, the daughter of Nathan's cleaning lady, Anissa. Anissa had begged Nathan to let her bring her daughter that day, having no child care available. Nathan, distracted by his own worries, agreed, expecting the girl to sit quietly in a corner, quietly coloring in a notebook or playing with a toy. But Zara was no ordinary 8-year-old. Ever since she had first heard Ahmed speak Arabic on the phone, she had been captivated. She would sit quietly imitating the sounds under her breath, practicing phrases she did not yet fully understand. At home, she begged Anissa for books, borrowed every library resource she could find, and even convinced an elderly Lebanese neighbor to tutor her. Language was magic for Zara, a bridge between worlds, and now fate had placed her at the very crossroads she had long dreamed of reaching. Nathan's hand hovered over the phone, sweat dampening his palms. I can't," he muttered. "I don't speak a word of Arabic. If I answer, I'll ruin everything." The phone rang again, urgent and relentless. Zara, perched on the edge of a chair, looked up at him. Her eyes, dark and determined, held a confidence Nathan had rarely seen in anyone, adult or child. She could feel it in her chest. This was her moment. She rose, small pink blouse catching the sunlight, and walked deliberately toward the desk. Nathan's voice cracked. What are you doing?" "You're scared," she said softly, "but I'm not." Before Nathan could respond, she lifted the receiver and whispered, "Hello." The deep voice on the other end spoke quickly in Arabic, rapid and impatient. The assistant gasped. Nathan's stomach dropped. But then, as if a spell had been cast, Zara began to translate, her small voice clear, articulate, and fearless. The voice on the other end paused. "A child?" the investor asked, astonishment in his tone. "Yes," Zara replied confidently. "Mr. Cole is here, but his translator is on vacation. I will assist." Nathan's eyes widened. He leaned over the desk, trying to follow every word. Zara's little hands moved deftly, her lips shaping each phrase perfectly, ensuring that Nathan's intentions were conveyed exactly as they needed to be. the investor suggested lowering the initial risk, starting smaller than the original $900 million contract. Nathan whispered, "Yes, small first, then expand." Zara repeated it flawlessly. Minutes passed, like hours. The tension in the room was palpable. Every word Zara spoke carried weight, bridging cultures, languages, and worlds. Finally, the call ended, the phone clicking softly as silence fell. Nathan exhaled, his shoulders sagging in relief. Zara turned to him, her eyes still bright with excitement. Nathan, overwhelmed, whispered, You just saved a deal worth $900 million. Zara tilted her head, shy but proud. "I just said what he asked me to," she replied. Nathan smiled, tears threatening to fall. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a gold business card. Kneeling to meet her gaze, he said softly, "One day, when you're older, call me. Whatever you dream of being, a translator, a teacher, anything, I'll make sure you have the chance." Anissa, covering her face with trembling hands, let out a sob. The assistant and office staff looked on in stunned silence. Nathan, the man who had conquered the business world, humbled himself before a child, recognizing the courage and talent that often goes unnoticed. "Today," Nathan said to the room, his voice thick with emotion, "she reminded me that money doesn't build bridges. People do. Respect does. And this little girl deserves mine more than anyone here." Zara held a card tightly to her chest, a small smile breaking through her tears. In that moment, she wasn't just a cleaning lady's daughter. She was the girl who had changed everything.